Thank you. The band was a garage band that got started on Hillwood Street in New Orleans. We practiced in the garage, which was screened in. And the neighborhood heard it, and they came by, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And everything went well. We got up to like 12 pieces, which is a big band.
My name is Bernie Cyrus. I'm the former Louisiana Music Commissioner for 4 governors, 2 decades. I'm a musician. Tommy Dunne was the guy in the neighborhood. He had the band, he had big horn band, and he could really sing. I mean, I've been singing all my life, and I'm just starting to be able to get good. He had it from teenager. Growing up, everybody went to dances. No matter where you lived, there was a little place you could go dancing. Tommy recorded on the White Cliffs label, which was a local label, and he did a song that Ernie Cato had originally done called $10,000 Reward. It was a local hit. So Tommy, he was like really recording. We were just playing little dives when we were kids and school dances and all, but Tommy was recording. He was playing the bigger gigs. So without Tommy's band doing that, and they were very entrepreneurial, they knew how to market themselves and so forth. Without that going on, we probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to be around a lot of things we were. So we kind of were thrust into the music scene, live music with Tommy's band, watching them. I grew up on Oden Street, which is between Arts and Music Street, New Orleans. I ended up being a music commissioner. I don't know, I don't believe in coincidences, and it was destiny, but the background that I got in that city and around these kids when I moved to New Orleans East and hung out with Tommy's band, and I got to watch them rehearse and so forth, and that was a big influence on me musically. I mean, I never thought I'd be a professional musician or go where I did, but it sure helped by being around Tommy doing the Sunsets. That particular time in New Orleans and around America was a seminal moment in rock and roll. Again, Tommy had natural talent. Nobody could sing like Tommy. Tommy had the real deal. He was the professional. They had the orchestra. They had probably 4 or 5-piece horn band. When I play, I love to go with horns, but those guys rehearsed. They were all readers. I don't think Tommy could read music. Like I said, he was just a natural singer. He just he had that ability. Again, he could sing. A lot of people faked it, but Tommy could get up there and do Johnny Mathis and do rock and roll, and he would do, later on in his career, he was singing, stuff where the rock and roll changed and went to the long hand, all that stuff. He was still doing Little Red Riding Hood by Sam the Shea and the Pharaohs.
But I won't. Ow! Little Red Riding Hood.
But I remember them most because they did the Harlem Shuffle before Rolling Stones recorded that. They did stuff like that a lot of people couldn't do. But Tommy, he had a great following, a huge following, and his real name was Tommy Dunne, but he went under Tommy Dunne and Sunsets, which was really cool, changing it. And that didn't happen a lot back then. When the Beatles came out, they changed it to the Beatles or B-E-A-T, which was pretty cool. But Tommy had changed the name to Tommy Dunne instead of Tommy Dunne, and it does sound better, Tommy Dunne and the Sunsets. No offense to the Dunne family, it's a great family, great name. But I remember, if I can go back and talk. Well, first of all, they were playing in the KC halls and Joe Brown in the neighborhood and VFW halls and stuff. And the thing about Tommy was, he was in the music industry when everything changed. And I know Frankie Ford. I played in Frankie Ford's band. He produced a record for me. He was a 50s icon, Sea Cruise, and You Talk Too Much, and all those hit songs. And Frankie used to talk about this, how when the Beatles came, he refused to comb his hair down. He wanted to stay doing what he was doing. Tommy was never going to take the grease out of his hair. He just wasn't going to do that. He wasn't changing. Tommy still looks the same 70-something years old as he did 16. He wears glasses like me. I'm wearing glasses now. Tommy was a guy. Tommy was like Buddy Holly, but more He wasn't a rocker like Buddy Holly. He didn't play guitar or anything. He just was a crooner. And he took it seriously. Tommy was not a goof off, okay? The rest of the guys in the band, and I'm in the band, the thing about playing music is we all want to goof off. Tommy didn't have that. He was strictly business.
Music comes from your heart. And I've been lucky enough to not get in trouble with anybody or do the stuff that a lot of musicians and bands end up doing where they get in trouble because they get drunk or they get, I love a good drink now and then, but I never got drunk, not on the stage anyway. But you have to feel it. And if you feel it and you have a little bit of talent, you can do it. There's no magic about it. It don't come from below, it comes from right here. If you have it in your heart, you can do it. Nothing's more heartfelt than knowing that you can make people feel good by singing. Make your heart beat.
When the Beatles came out, it wasn't just about singing and the dance music. Fashion came in. The hairstyles changed, the clothes changed, and Tommy and them, they didn't change. He still looks the same. They wore the tuxedos. They were professional. They had the orchestra placards up with the initials or whatever the band, and that's what you were used to. All the bands had that. All the horn bands did. I remember they did one of my all-time favorite songs by the Spiral Staircase called "I Love You More Today Than Yesterday." Tommy would nail that song. And I still to this day can see Tommy singing that song.
We did More Today Than Yesterday. And the way it was in that auditorium, their supporters were all on their side of the auditorium in the bleachers. And ours were all on our side in the bleachers. When we started doing I Love You More Today Than Yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. We emptied both sides of the stands, their side, our side, and they stayed in front of us. And the DJ just didn't have a choice, and we won a battle of the band walking away. That was the greatest victory we ever had.
Tommy was so sure of himself, and Tommy was kind of even a legend. I mean, and they grew. If anybody grew up in that era, they remember him. I'll remember what was happening. Like I said, we could go to the jukebox at the KB at the bar, me and his little brother, and play a song in the jukebox. And that was freaking too cool, I mean, yeah, we could play the Beatles if we wanted, we could play other people, but Tommy's record was on the freaking jukebox at the soda shops. And Tommy's record was there because Tommy was on a legit label. Wycliffe's record that Tommy was on had the biggest local hit, and to this day, even now they still play, was this song, Graduation Day. It was a little simple little, what we call Circle C song, and I played it. We always played it at all the school things. It was the thing to play. That's the same label Tommy was on. I never did think he was anything but a star, I mean, to me, he was Tommy Dawn of Sunsets. And he was, the thing on Tommy too, he had an ego. Nobody's gonna deny that. He still has an ego.
I ain't never lacked confidence. Might be crazy, might be stupid, but I never lacked confidence.
But he never really was a guy who was unapproachable. He still talked to you, and stuff like that. And he always had a pleasant personality, Some musicians can be jerks, sometimes, and tough guys or whatever. But he wasn't like that. He was always strictly about the music. And the thing about Tommy, he married his high school sweetheart. So he didn't mess around with the girls like everybody. Like the reason why we got into music, he already had his girlfriend. He's married to this day. He was truly deserves, and I know, as a music commissioner, I have the Louisiana Music Commission Hall of Fame. We're doing music museums in different places. There was a Louisiana Music Hall of Fame for a long time. They had like 400 inductees into it. A lady named Lou Gabus was in charge of it, and she died. We, as a music commission, we were the official agency of the state. So we had we issued certificates of Memorial Hall of Fame type certificates to certain people who deserved it. And Tommy was the first one that I made sure that he got what he deserved. And we gave him a certificate, and Ellis Marcellus signed it. Probably the governor had a signature on it. I don't know, I think he lost it in Katrina, though.
I would like to get a fresh one because that one got hurricane stained. But I still have it. I have a lot of stuff that got hurricane stained that's still around. A lot of stuff on the walls in here in my office.
So Katrina affected everybody.
My house was 42 inches of water for 10 days in 105-degree heat. It was history.
These poor guys lost everything. They were telling me how they lost their whole houses. They were all flooded. They were sitting on their cars and they heard the dogs yelling and barking because alligators were eating the dogs and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Alex Chilton moved to New Orleans when I was music commissioner here, and he died in Katrina. He drowned. So did Scott Sherman, another great band growing up. He drowned. Alex Chilton, and Barry Calsill was here. He drowned in Katrina. We were bringing musicians in from all over the world to be part of our music scene. They were loving it. And to think that Katrina came and took the lives of these stars, national stars that died. Not just local people, a lot of local people. Scott Sherman was one. Great drummer, Chris Sherman's brother. Good guitar player, singer.
Hurricanes have been the biggest downfall for the bands, for everybody's band. So keeping a 12-piece band going and being as popular and as successful meant that most of the people in it were playing from their heart. And they were there because they like making good music. That's what it's all about.
So after Katrina, I'm still going to Memphis. So when I went to Memphis, I went to the Grammy office. I was able to help talk them into giving us $1.something million cash, and they doled that out to New Orleans musicians. But my thing now is to always make musicians get their due. That's always been my thing. And I want Tommy to get his due. And when we're doing this new museum, we're going to have $10,000 reward 45 record in there. And it's Tommy's career, because he's that important. So when you say anything about Tommy Dunne, I just would describe him like this. When it comes to rock and roll, comes to singing, and comes to being a band leader, he's bona fide.
Thank you. Recut of an Ernie Cato number. Wanted $10,000 reward. Let's have a hand for that horn section over there. Those guys are doing a great job. Yeah. Woo!